I love when we have hardcore on the show.
This is SportsCentre.
Hey, I'm Marissa Roberto, and the Leafs are back in action tonight as they host the Sabres before heading to Boston tomorrow for the second of a back-to-back. And while this week was all about those two Bruins games and the likely playoff preview, the Leafs would be wise to not look past Buffalo tonight because they've been absolutely smoked by the Sabres this season, losing 6-4 and then 9-3 earlier in the year. And after that 9-3 beatdown, Austin Matthews did not hold back.
Disappointing. I think embarrassment is probably the right word to use. Just from start to finish, top to bottom, not nearly good enough. Just a bad hockey game from our team tonight. Just collectively, probably one of the worst games since I've been here. So
I don't know if you remember that game, but the Buffalo fans were absolutely hammering Leafs fans in the stands. They were actually counting how many. It was just a lesson in how to be a fun fan. I had to give my hat to Buffalo. They really gave us the gears. The Sabres are typically an opponent that Matthews loves playing against, though, as he has 17 goals in 24 career games. And he could really use a bounce back tonight, as he has slowed down of late. In his last 5 games, he has just 1 goal, which is crazy considering he had 19 in his previous 15. And as far as the Sabres are concerned, it's kind of now or never for them. And realistically, it's never, as they are 10 points behind Tampa for the final wildcard spot, which at this point in the season kind of seems like too much to overcome. So the playoff drought will likely continue. I do feel sorry for Sabres fans just a little bit, but I don't know, your tickets are a little cheaper. I'm thinking of actually getting season tickets to go to Sabres games because it's close and hockey is a good time. Also, I will be at the game tonight, and if my record going to Leafs games means anything to you, I'm currently at 6-0-1 in attendance. So if that does something for you Leafs fans, I don't know, maybe we should put some money on it? What if we take another dub tonight? We're just a couple days away from the NHL trade deadline, and as always, the lead-up has been pretty exciting. And we actually got a pretty big trade this morning, as Vladimir Tarasenko was moved from the Senators to the Panthers in exchange for a 2024 4th-round pick, which becomes a 2026 3rd-round pick if the Panthers win the Cup. They also receive a 2025 third, and Ottawa will retain 50% of his salary. Tarasenko has 17 goals and 24 assists in 57 games with Ottawa this year, and gives an absolutely unreal Panthers team even more firepower. Before the trade, Florida was plus 850 to win the Cup, and are now 7-1 on FanDuel, the shortest Cup odds of any team. And the moves kept coming. Adam Henrique and Sam Carrick are heading to Edmonton with draft picks heading back to the Ducks. Sean Walker and a 5th are heading to Colorado for Ryan Johansson and a 1st. And Colorado isn't done there, as the Sabres are sending Casey Middlestat to the Avs for Bowen Byram. That was a lot. Did you catch your breath? And those aren't the only big moves in the last 24 hours. Last night, the Golden Knights took advantage of all their LTIR space by acquiring Anthony Mantha from the Caps for a couple of picks, and the Caps retained salary in the deal. Mantha scored 20 with Washington, his first 20-goal season since 2018-2019. And he's also heating up right now, with 10 points in his last 9 games. Mantha joins a long list of impact players for Vegas, acquired by way of trade, and who knows if they're done making moves. With Mantha off the trade bait board, all eyes are now on the Pittsburgh Penguins, because all signs point to them moving Jake Gensel before the deadline. According to our hockey insiders, the Pens want a sizable return for Gensel, and that the teams trying to acquire him aren't showing much interest in getting an extension done, meaning the pending UFA is likely just a rental. The most interesting thing to note, though, is that Jim Rutherford and the Canucks apparently might flip Elias Lindholm. Yeah, we know they just got him, with Gensel's name being talked about in a potential move. Lindholm hasn't exactly fit in with the Canucks yet, but that makes sense because he just got there. 5 of his 6 points with his new team came in his first 8 games. But in his last 9, he has just 1 assist. As is with every year, though, there are always diamonds in the rough, and you don't need a big name to help you win a cup. So who could that player be this year? I'm glad you asked, as Pavel Buchnevich of the St. Louis Blues could really fit that description. But he feels a little expensive, and the Blues are still kind of in the wildcard race, just 6 points back. But he does lead the team in goals with 24, and is second in points with 48. So you know a lot of contending teams would love to have him. To the NFL, and there's a lot of chatter with the quarterback market, with plenty of big names looking to end up in new homes. Let's start with today's news about Russell Wilson. Yesterday we learned that the Broncos will be releasing him. And today Adam Schefter tweeted that Denver gave Wilson permission to immediately start meeting with teams. So for Wilson, it looks like the legal tampering period starts right now. But the best quarterback available appears to be Kirk Cousins, with people speculating he will not re-sign with the Vikings, and some insiders saying the Falcons are the front runner.
I would think that the Falcons would make a run, a push at Kirk Cousins, whose wife is from that area. He's lived in that area during the offseason. The question becomes, can Minnesota keep him in Minnesota, or does Atlanta pull him away? And Is there another team that somehow sneaks in there at the last moment? Maybe a team like Washington that somehow casts its line for Kirk Cousins to bring him back to that city. There will be plenty of interest. I think he's the biggest name on the free agent list. I think he's the top talent out there on the free agent list, and I think he'll land probably the biggest contract in this free agent market.
So where does that leave Justin Fields? Well, according to Albert Breer of SI, Bears GM Ryan Poles has positioned Chicago to trade Fields in the coming days, but is also open to waiting a bit if it takes time for the QB market to develop. Maybe even waiting until the draft? So yeah, it could be a while until we know what Fields' future holds. Now joined by our guy Tim Haraney to talk about all the drama happening at Red Bull. Great to see you, Tim!
Hey Marissa, thanks very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Okay, what exactly is going on at Red Bull, Tim?
We all know about the investigation into Christian Horner and what happened there. Now, fast forward to what Jos Verstappen said following the Bahrain Grand Prix. The Daily Mail reported a story where they had interviewed Jos Verstappen and had him saying the team is in danger of being torn apart. It can't go on the way it is. It will explode, end quote. Jos plays a big role in his son's career, and this isn't the first time that he's gotten involved in Red Bull Racing's business, but this looks to be on a different level as he does wield influence on Max's career, and now that makes things really difficult for Max as his dad gets more involved. It will begin to blow back on Max as he attempts to win a fourth driver's title this season as well. Now, there's been rumors of Max activating his break clause in his contract to move to another team in 2025, but a lot of this feels more like a power play to move Horner out at the top of the team and move someone else in. So the situation is extremely fluid. Yas's dad won't be in Saudi Arabia this weekend. He's away taking part in a rally, but this could potentially continue to play out this weekend during the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, as Christian Horner is expected to speak with the media on Thursday.
Tim Haraney, a pleasure as always.
Thanks again for having me. Really appreciate it. Thanks to producer Chris as well.
Love it, Tim. Thanks again. And you can watch the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix Saturday night on TSN. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. That's all for today. We'll see you back tomorrow at 3 Eastern. No Pacific! Have a good one.